It is with the greatest joy that I welcome Jerome Mullen, the Honorary Consul for Poland, into the studio this morning. And Jerome has been a busy man of late because of hate crime. And we repeat what we say in this program, Jerome. We are opposed to it. And if you hate out there, anybody out there hates a Protestant, I am a Protestant. If you hate a Polish person, I am a Polish person, so hate me first. We need people to stand up and be counted and get the hate crime business eradicated once and for all.
Yes, I think so. I think we all have to sort of, as you say, stand up. This is sinister, to say the least, that this sort of thing is still going on in our society. It is wrong. It should be stopped now, and it is sad that in fact actually we have this kind of hate crime that is going on.
Yeah.
I think it will be stopped. As I'm very hopeful basically that the good people out there in all of the areas that have been concerned with hate crime are totally opposed to this. Political parties are opposed to it. Government is opposed to it. And all of those people.
And interesting. Sorry for interrupting, but interestingly, some of the community leaders in the areas are against it and are speaking out against it.
Oh, they are indeed, absolutely, and it is very, very important that they do so. And one of the particular things that I've been very concerned with, Rowan, over recent times in relation to this, is that I would talk to the communities within these particular areas, because there's where the problem is, within those particular communities. And if anybody can solve it, it is the communities themselves. To talk to these young people and say, listen, stop what you're doing. This is wrong. It is unchristian. It is undemocratic. And we need to rectify the situation.
It's also ungrateful because they fail to realise that the Polish squadron in the Battle of Britain fought shoulder to shoulder, wingtip to wingtip with the Royal Air Force in order to drive the Germans away.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, actually, it is precisely that. I mean, the role that the Poles played in the Battle of Britain, and indeed in many other battles that have taken place. And funny enough that you should mention actually and raise that particular issue. But one of a lady wrote to me from East Belfast, who had been told about a story from her mother about a particular Polish airman who was shot by the Luftwaffe, and instead of him getting out of the plane and saving his own life, he actually flew his plane into the Luftwaffe and stopped them bombing East Belfast.
My goodness.
And saved the lives of many, many hundreds of people in that particular area. There was a great example, basically, and this is
you got the letter from the lady.
This is the letter that I got from this lady, actually, in East
Belfast.
Yes.
Well, there is the reason that the people who are extreme in East Belfast, involved in hate crime against anyone, should stop, and stop now.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Listen, on a brighter side, tell me how the Polish community in Northern Ireland, we know how well there is unity between the Irish people and the Polish people. We're so very, very similar in many, many ways. But how are they bearing up under the pressure of the hate crime?
They're bearing up very well. I mean, the Polish people are very resilient, and unless it comes specifically to their particular door, they are okay. They won't be worrying too much. Obviously, they will be concerned, basically, that something might happen, especially if they're very close to some of the homes that have been affected by hate crime. But obviously, any tension and anything that arises, and the likes of what we were just talking about just before I came on the program, about the migrant community in Portadown being brought into the decision of the determination of the Parades Commission was completely wrong.
Yes.
I've been working very hard over the last number of days, talking to people in Portadown. And with the Parades Commission. And I'm really very upset, basically, that this has happened, that they've been dragged into this issue, which is not their issue. They don't want to know anything about it. They don't want any involvement in it.
And that's the Parades Commission telling the Orange Order and those who made application to march on part of the Givahi Road, you can't do it because there are migrants living here. That's the long and the short.
Well, I
of
mean,
that one.
it was put in as a reason, and when I, in fact, actually received, a letter from one of the political parties, from the PUP, actually, to be precise, and put it down, they said this was the sole reason for the redetermination, for the new determination, you know, in to do with this. And of course, the Parades Commission said, no, this is not true. And they explained to me that there was a lot more. There was many other issues. There was
But
a
they
number of
shouldn't
other
have
issues,
mentioned migrants
but
in the first
they
place.
should not have mentioned it, because I mean they are then bringing them in and endangering them.
Absolutely.
In relation to to potential attacks on their community in the wider Portadown area.
Oh, absolutely.
Not just in
Indeed, in
that Gavahi
wider
Road.
Northern Ireland. But thankfully, your people are strong. The people you represent, they're now at the very heart of the Northern Ireland community.
Yes,
And they bring their unique humour, their unique humanity to share with us. They're
Absolutely.
wonderful, hard-working, humorous people.
Well, everybody, I mean, that you talk to that are employing Polish workers, they are so happy with them as a workforce. And in fact, one particular company in Belfast, Rowan, is so pleased with the workers that they have. They have over 40 that are actually going to Poland and setting up a manufacturing plant. In fact, that was all signed off last week. And in fact, that company is now going to have a factory fully in production in about a year's time, with over 100 workers in Poland.
You're not long, in Northern Ireland.
It's a Northern Ireland-based company with a very substantial workforce here. And they did a recent expansion, funny enough, here in Northern Ireland, in Belfast. But now they're going for a further expansion. But they're setting up the factory in Poland.
Wonderful. That's the very best you
and
can
that
get.
that is a vote of confidence,
Absolutely.
if you like,
Absolutely.
in the Polish workers.
They're just
which is the reason why they're going.
Absolutely wonderful, wonderful people, and they've come a long way since the beginnings. You're just back from Poland. You visited there recently.
Well, in fact, actually, I was there yes, I was there in fact some months ago. Yes, and I'm going in fact next week.
That's what I thought. Next week.
I'm going next week.
Paint people a brief picture, a word picture of the Poland that you step into, of the architecture, the street scenes, of the people, of the sounds and the smells of Poland. What's it like?
Well, Poland is, funny enough, actually, when I first went to Poland, my immediate observation was it's so much like Ireland. Lots of green fields, lovely countryside, you know, the old style farmhouses that you'd see as you travel along the roads. The country is a very modern country now. It has actually been very, very quickly developed over recent years. They have a whole series of motorways crisscrossing basically the country and so on. So it is a lovely country to visit, and what is even nicer is the people. People are absolutely very welcoming, very friendly, and really you feel very much at home when you're there.
They've been through a lot in Poland. They've been the subject. They were victimized at the time of the war and the awfulness. When you think of the pogroms and the ghettos and what happened to the Jewish people there, it was dreadful, dreadful, dreadful.
I mean, what happened to the Poles maybe would have probably destroyed a great many nations. Basically, but they were so resilient that they came back from being wiped off the map of Europe twice in their history. Then, in fact, actually, they were invaded in 1939, not just by one country, by Germany, but also by Russia 2 weeks later. And then when the war was over, what happened? They became embroiled basically and were brought into the communism basically for 50 years.
And again, there was
subjected to communism.
And there was a growth process occurring in the staunch and good heart of Polish people.
Yes.
They were growing through that and out of that.
Absolutely. And of course, it was very appropriate that Poland was the country that actually broke the Soviet stranglehold on the Eastern Central European countries because they were the first country to actually do that when Solidarity was founded.
Lech Walesa forever.
Lech Walesa and Pope John Paul.
And
Saint John Paul.
Saint John Paul. Yes. Are you up there? We like, and then you have the Czarna Madonna of Częstochowa.
That's exactly right.
The Czarna Madonna of Częstochowa.
Absolutely.
The black Madonna.
That's
Goodness
right.
gracious.
Yes.
It's all good. And Poland goes from strength to strength at the heart of our community here in Northern Ireland. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much
All
indeed,
the
Rowan.
best to you,
Good to
and
be
go
here
well.
again.
It's a tough job you're doing.
Oh, well, I
but
mean,
you're surrounded by good people.
Well, it is challenging, Rowan, all right, but it also is very enjoyable, and especially if you can achieve things actually for this community that are living amongst us.
Go out, take
Yes.
care.
Thank you, Rowan.
All
Thank
the
you
best.
very much indeed.